Do you know who that is? Knowing this person's identity will make you question your entire identity. And at the end of the video, you will be able to answer that question at the top. I want you to try to answer it in the comment sections when you finish watching this. In fact, pause this video right now and write who you think this is down in the comments. All right, don't cheat. That man up there is John D. Rockefeller. And I know most of you already know who the Rockefellers are, so we're not even going to go that deep into who the family is. Let me know in the comments if you want me to go deep into that. Because what most of you don't know is that you live within the Matrix, not a computer simulation, not a movie, nothing to do with Red Pill or anything like that, Red Pill community. You live in a medium or structure in which something develops. That's what you live in. There are good matrices, like your natural environment, like Earth. And there are bad matrices, like civilization, like the rat race you live in, that are made to take your energy, called productivity, and give it out to civilization so that it may expand and further take the resources from the earth. Going a little too far for some of y'all. Some people already scroll because they can't even handle it. But let's get right into the information. During the 19th and the 17th century, the U.S. experienced dramatic industrialization. There was a huge shift from what was already a problem, which was the agricultural revolution, but it was more self-dependent system, right? We moved from a self-sustaining system to a do-it-yourself to sustain it system to a depend on others system. That's the Industrial Revolution. And instead of having to rely on what you could build, what you could make, what you could grow, they wanted you, no, don't depend on yourself, depend on the large corporations. That's industrialization for you right there. John D. Rockefeller founded what's called the General Education Board in 1902. The board aimed to standardize education throughout the entire country. What they were trying to do is they were trying to mimic factories. They wanted the same things that happen in factories to happen in schools. So just as everybody in a factory had to meet a certain standard, everyone in the school systems with grades, right, had to hit a certain standard. They wanted them to mirror each other. I'm pretty sure you can guess why. So this board called the GEB, they literally would go around funding schools. Just so you can know this, I worked in a school. I worked in a lot of schools. I used to be a teacher, if you couldn't tell. And the last school I worked at was awesome, by the way. But one thing you need to know about any school that you're working at, any school that you're taking your child to, is that they need funding, okay? Whoever's funding this school will have a certain amount of say on what's going on in the school, understand? And what was going on is, especially the southern schools, were being funded over $6 million. Back then in the 1900s, that was a lot of money, y'all. That was big money, okay? I mean, it's still a lot of money now, but it was huge money back then, and they could influence these school systems and make them more geared towards industrialization, making it more geared towards aligning your purpose with your job. So in other words, they had control over all the curriculums in the United States. I should say most of them. I don't like to use words like all because people are really critical of all, but a lot of the schools. We're talking about one of the biggest shifts in American history. These people were changing your entire identity right in front of your eyes, and people didn't even know it. Like, you ever hear somebody say, in order to be a man, you got to get a job, right? Right? Or even today, right? It's still working. Now, it's already worked on men. Men have already traded out all their values to be a hard-working man, right? And so now, it's woman's turn. I don't know if you noticed the cultural shift to getting the woman to work more, right? Women work more than they've ever worked in their lives, just like men, right? And so it's voluntary slavery. That's what it is. Right? That's what this is trying to push everybody to go into. And what it does is it gives the narrative that in order to be a good person, you must have a career. And like what they started doing, they started to reshape the American dream, right? To really partake in the American dream, you must come from rags to riches. And how do you go from rags to riches? Well, you work hard. You trade your time for money. By the way, that is not going to get you a lot of money. Trading your time for money, it's silly. or some people saying time is money. All these things put in your brain to brainwash you into giving up your life to make others rich, to giving up your life to expand this matrix. So the idea was that if we can make these students compliant, then we can make them good workers. Those who we can't make compliant, we'll just throw them in prison, which is just another form of all of this. They'll make us money in a different way. You understand? So this man right here, his name is John D. Rockefeller. He was a central person. He's not the only person who was scamming the entire, country. He was able to convince the entire world that purpose and career and jobs are aligned and are the same. And if you want to be a good man, a good woman, a good person, work, and work. Hustle culture. But the reality is, family, we don't have to live those lives. You don't have to work that 9 to 5. You don't have to go in that rat race. Fams, food, forest, foraging, hunting, anti-fragile modern society. This book is going to free you from this matrix forever. Right? It's going to unravel all that brainwashing from school, and it's going to give you what you're supposed to be. Instead of being in the state of Babylon, you're supposed to be in the state of the Garden of Eden, right? You don't need religion, right? You don't even need to believe in anything in that way. But what you must believe in, that you can be free from this matrix, that you were not made to work a 9 to 5. The book is right down here, and the link for the free book, the Audible version, is in the link at the top of the page. I love you all. Peace. And if I did a good job in these 6 minutes and 40-something seconds, you'll be able to tell me what's wrong with most people's idea of their purpose. Tell me in the comments below. Peace.